I'm going to make one video of one of the most special cars here that I saw probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's a Corsa in, whoa, what's the color? 66. Is it butternut yellow, light creamy yellow, same as my mother's 68 Camaro yellow. So when I saw this car, it was on a ramp converted fire truck and it wasn't running, and now it is. So where do you begin to describe all the engineering, the dreaming, the designing, the detail, the fabrication that goes into putting a 3800, Buick's favorite, fantastic motor, 3800 supercharged with a 6-speed manual transaxle. Everything you see here is custom fabricated, everything. And I was looking at it with another fellow a couple minutes ago, and I said to myself, wait a second, you've got a trunk right here in the back like a mid-engine Corvair would have, but the engine is underneath the package shelf, the rear window. This is a convertible. The engine's right here. So normally you'd have the differential here with the axles and the heater hoses and the heater box, but you've still got a full back seat. A full back seat. Front seat, 6-speed manual shifter with Porsche Boxster shifter cables. You gotta find stuff that works. 6-speed manual shift, water-cooled, 3800, Buick's best motor, V6 with a custom fabricated spin tech muffler. So if you put a floor here with a little step, you'd have a full-size trunk. Now I didn't see what's under the front trunk. Presumably he's got a radiator, and it might be mounted vertically at an angle like Corvettes of the 60s and 70s. It may be mounted under the floor, and he may have put a trunk floor in. I don't know. He's not here. It's a hot day. The radiator is mounted vertically. There it is. There's a bit more engineering to go into this thing. It's amazingly well designed and executed. So you've got a front trunk, a bit smaller than original. Beautiful Corvette bucket seats, leather. No power steering required because the engine's at the back axle, and it's not hanging over beyond the back axle, because if you think about it, Corvettes from 63 on, the crankshaft was right on top of the front cross member. So a Corvette was almost mid-engine. That's why they're so well balanced. Some Audis have the engine in front of the front axle. Older stuff. 20-year-old stuff. Corvettes have the engine behind the front axle, entirely behind the front axle. They're almost mid-engine. Now I know they make the newer ones, which I'll never have one, thank goodness. And they're not selling well, another story. This engine is mounted pretty close to the middle of the rear axle, whereas the Corvair, the engine is entirely behind the rear axle, which is why they're so tail heavy. And according to reports that I've read, the engine was supposed to be entirely aluminum, but they couldn't do the cylinders. Look what happened with the Vega. They worked well until they ran hot, which was the day after you bought it. So this engine is slightly, engine powertrain, power pack, slightly behind the rear axle center line. Those axles, custom fabricated, are slightly skewed to the back. Manual transmission, 3800 supercharged, which is 60, 120, 220 cubic inches approximately, with a supercharger. I'm sure it's got a smaller pulley to get those RPMs up faster. 300 horsepower out of 220 cubic inches. 60, 120, 220 cubic inches. Each 1,000 cc's or liter is 62 cubic inches approximately, same as miles per hour. Too complicated, too many numbers. But 60, 120, 240, so 4 liters would be 240 cubic inches. It's got about 220 cubic inches. 300 horsepower, which is almost 1.5 horsepower per cubic inch. That's a lot of power. It's GM supercharged, 6-speed manual, Corvette disc brakes. What a combination. What a winning combination. I love the color because it reminds me of my mother's 68 Camaro that she bought brand new back in March of 1968 from Canuel Automobile in Terrebonne, Quebec. And that's the best engineered, in my opinion, Corvair here. Engineered, dreamt, designed, engineered, executed, and driven. This car was driven. The original shifter would have gone there. The shifter's now moved further back. Water hoses, Combination of stock and, well, we got to figure something out. We'll get this thing to work. What a great, great engineering project running around at Wisconsin Dells. That is beautiful.